of counties and cities that have thus far refused to cooperate with us to identify and report on any excessive spending patterns. And we'll be doing this through our new authority, as I mentioned, which includes granting access to spending records, and we'll be starting with those jurisdictions which have received a lot of complaints for their spending practices. And so we're here in Broward County, and I think most people know there's some criticism of how the county government has operated. And I think over the last 5 years, taxpayers here in Broward have watched their county government has increased property tax burdens by the tune of $450 million in addition to ad valorem collections. So that's an increase of close to 50% just since 2020. But yet, the population of Broward has barely grown at all, less than 5% net since 2020. So why is the tax going up almost 50% while the population is going up less than 5%? You know, there are things that as population grows, we've seen this in the state of Florida, more people pay sales tax, you end up having higher receipts, but that's because of economic growth and more population. You haven't seen the population increase here. Now, Broward has also spent a lot of money on kind of pet causes, whether it's DE&I, whether it's the Green New Deal. They even did, I think it was, what was it, $800,000 for the Rose Bowl. They did a float in the Rose Bowl. The county administrator here makes almost $500,000 a year. So there's a lot of things that really deserve scrutiny. And here's the thing, you know, you're taxed just for living in your home as a Florida resident, and where is that money going to? We always hear it's about schools and police. Well, we all agree with that. But what about this other spending, and why has that gone up so much when there hasn't been an obvious justification to be able to do it? So we have the authority. This is no longer optional. We don't have to ask, Mother, may I? We can just simply say, you must comply under the law. Of course, there are supporting mechanisms built into the law for municipalities and counties that are non-compliant. And then, of course, I have constitutional authority to ensure that folks are following the law. So I look forward to these audits. So we are announcing today, you know, Broward County. We've got another announcement later today in Gainesville, but you are going to see a cadence of these put out very quickly over the next couple weeks. And so it's not just going to be in one part of the state, it's going to be across the board. We have gotten a lot of valuable information from folks that voluntarily participated, but I think that there's jurisdictions that didn't want to participate. We understand that, but we also understand that that's not going to be acceptable for the taxpayers here in the state of Florida. Before I turn it over to Blaze, I just want to make a quick comment on, you know, the city of Miami. You know, they cooked up this scheme with, I think, 3 of the 5 commissioners that they would just cancel the election scheduled for this November, extend their own terms in office, which the voters had never approved. That also violates term limits effectively, and that was just something that was going to be all hunky-dory. And I know a lot of people were concerned about it. I raised concerns about it and said it was bad. The Attorney General of Florida said it was not legal, what they were trying to do. I know a lot of voters and residents down in South Florida were not happy with seeing that. And so yesterday, there was a court ruling to say that no, you can't cancel the election, you can't extend your terms in office unless you get the approval of the voters. And isn't that how it should be? I mean, you as a voter go in to elect someone for a fixed term, knowing you have another shot to have new elections at a fixed time, and that they can just decide, you know, we're just going to dispense with that and go. That doesn't fly. First of all, it wasn't legal. But even if somehow it was legal, is there anyone that can make an argument with a straight face about why that would be something that would be acceptable to just thrust upon the voters without their consent? Of course not. So we were very much pleased to see that court ruling. I anticipated that court ruling because I think that what they were trying to do just ran afoul of not just the law, but basic common sense and principles of fairness. And so I hope that they'll be able to conduct a free and fair election this November. And if they want to change the dates of their election, You go to the voters before you do that, and you lay out a plan that you wanted in an even year. You don't just say, we're just going to stay in office a little bit longer, and regardless of what the voters think. So I appreciate those who were involved in that litigation, and I think it was the right decision. Okay, we got our fearless fiscal warrior, Blaise Ngolia. Come on up.